Good evening. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Ishan Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories. And of course, the big development that happened today, the Narendra Modi government at the centre has completed 1 year in office. There have been a whole host of events that have happened, a whole host of conversations, a lot of things have been said. So we'll be bringing a special report about all that to you as well over the next half hour. But first, the headlines we're tracking right now. NDA government celebrates a year in office. PM stresses on encouraging agriculture amid opposition's criticism that his government is anti-farmer. Chief Economic Advisor claims Indian economy on recovery path, assures poor monsoon won't shoot up inflation. India Inc. claims investment sentiment has improved. The power tussle in Delhi gets worse. The Aam Aadmi Party moves a resolution in the assembly seeking power to impeach the Lieutenant Governor. The BJP objects to the motion moved against the centre's notification. Heat wave continues to sizzle most parts of the country, over 750 dead, mostly in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. And more Indian names with Swiss bank accounts out. Industrialist Yash Bilra among 6 named who are facing a tax probe. Our top story this evening, an open letter to the nation in the form of a newspaper ad, direct messages to his followers on Twitter, meetings with the President, the Vice President and PMO staff. This is how Prime Minister Narendra Modi marked the first year in office today. In fact, the message in all his communications with the public has been the same, how the NDA government has rejuvenated a languishing economy and built on a stable, policy-driven, proactive governance model.
A letter to the nation in the form of a newspaper ad. Marking his 1 year in office, Prime Minister Narendra Modi talks about various issues from setting up IITs, IIMs and AIIMS to the Swachh Bharat mission and the economy. In his letter, the Prime Minister once again hit out at the opposition, saying his government was handed over the reins at a time when the India story was waning. But his government systematically addressed all challenges, brought runaway prices under control and rejuvenated the languishing economy. He also projected a pro-poor image of his government, saying it was dedicated to the poor, the marginalized and those left behind. The Prime Minister also met President Pranab Mukherjee and Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari. Narendra Modi tweeted a picture of his meeting with the President. The PM also met Vice President Ansari and his wife at their residence in New Delhi. The Prime Minister also interacted with all officers of the PMO and said his experience had been that government functionaries and the common man think alike, and if given the right atmosphere, government machinery can deliver results for the common man. Addressing them as Team PMO, Modi praised the officers for the hard work and dedication with which they have performed their duties. In his meeting with the officers, the Prime Minister was given an overview of the various reforms and changes that have been initiated in the PMO over the last 1 year. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched Doordarshan's farmer-centric channel DD Kisan today, addressing farmers at the channel's launch. Prime Minister said that agriculture must be encouraged in India, calling villages the key to the growth of the nation. Modi said increase in agricultural production will lead to increased incomes. Modi further added that the Kisan channel would lead to increased awareness among farmers regarding the sector. The government has made it a must-carry channel, making it mandatory for cable and DTH operators to provide it to their subscribers.
आधुनिक विज्ञान को, टेक्नोलॉजी को गांव और खेत खलिहान तक पहुंचा देंगे तो देश का सामान्य व्यक्ति, देश का नौजवान जो खेती से भागता चला गया है, वो फिर से खेती के साथ जुड़ सकता है और देश की नीति को, अर्थव्यवस्था को एक नई गति दे सकता है.
Chief Economic Advisor Arvind Subramaniam has allayed fears that a deficient monsoon could stoke up inflation. He assured that India has ample food stocks to arrest inflationary pressures. However, he said that the Indian economy is on a recovery mode and that the RBI has scope for more rate cuts.
Chief Economic Advisor Arvind Subramanian asserted that the spectre of deficient monsoon rainfall may not cast cloud over India's growth and inflation outlook. He, however, expressed concern over plunge in rural income in the wake of deficient rainfall.
The economy is, recovering. There are some signs that it's picking up, but it's really important that in the short run, the economy needs policy support to boost, consumption. The real reason to worry about the monsoon is first what it's going to do to rural incomes, and second, what the impact on inflation is going to be. And I think on inflation, if we can release stocks on time, we can use our buffer well, I think that is more manageable.
He also said that the RBI has scope to ease its monetary policy, hinting at more rate cuts in the future.
The inflation forecast is certainly, my reading is that it's going to be lower than the RBI's target, and fiscal policy is supporting, and so that has implications for interest rates going forward.
Dip in factory output for the month of March and low retail and wholesale inflation in April has revamped industry clamour for cut in RBI policy rate on 2nd June to boost growth. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And the Narendra Modi government has received a big thumbs up from corporate India on its first anniversary. Industry leaders espouse an overwhelming belief in the steps taken by the government to usher in economic growth. Industry chambers feel restoration of investor confidence and establishment of Brand India are major achievements of the government in its first year.
The corporate India vouches that the euphoria after Modi took over charge last year hasn't quite died down yet. It has lauded the government's focus on non-adversarial, corruption-free and predictable policy regime, buoying investor sentiments.
They had set up themselves a tall target, but they've achieved a lot. And I think the biggest achievement that they have had, if you look at it as an overall achievement, is the fact that they created a positive sentiment. And they've instilled investor confidence, which I think was completely going down.
The India Inc. has also backed the government's decision to press ahead with 40,000 crore rupees minimum alternate tax demand on foreign institutional investors. It maintains that legitimate taxes should not be perceived as tax terrorism.
I think a lot of these 40,000 crore demands were demands which were legitimate or are legitimate in the eyes of the government. So I think pursuing them is good. Maybe the timing was bad.
India Inc. is hopeful that the government will focus on accomplishing the work-in-progress agenda through continuous policy action and reforms. A big bang reform or a big-ticket investment project is yet to take off. But corporate India lauds the motivation, the intention and the direction of the Modi government to put India on a higher growth trajectory. Industry leaders feel that Narendra Modi cannot be expected to bring about a turnaround in just 1 year, but are confident that steps taken by him will bear fruits of development very soon. Reporting from Delhi, Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
And some of the biggest promises made by Narendra Modi as he began his stint were for the social sector. But as Modi's government turns one, there's still a lot to be done. So let's take a look at the work done by the government in the social sector.
As the Modi government completes 1 year in office, there are increased fears of unfulfilled promises as far as the social sector is concerned. The BJP's election manifesto last year focused on some key areas in the social sector. It gave an assurance of health to all, strengthening school education, a mission against poverty and malnutrition, universal food security and a program for women's health care.
These need to be looked at by the government and supported and actually implemented properly, and they need to put in place a framework so that health facilities, social security facilities and schemes that the government is running function properly.
Even as the government made these announcements, there were cuts in budgetary allocations.
Especially if you look at what is being invested by the government in schemes for the poor and the marginalized, including women and children. We've seen huge cuts. You can't be making 54% cut in a scheme like ICDS.
The ambitious National Health Assurance Mission alone is estimated to cost $25.5 billion over 4 years. The scheme was to start in April 2015, but is yet to take off. Another casualty of budget cuts is Manrega.
But when you convert that good schemes like employment of last resort or such things at the ground level, that governance failure, that has created fuss or mess at the ground level. So the restructuring of those schemes is one of the priorities now.
The allocation for the education sector came down to just a little over 69,000 crore rupees this year from the earlier 70,505 crore rupees in 2014-15. Though higher education sector saw 22% boost in allocation, elementary and secondary education was left to battle for allocation. Anshu Singh's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And BJP President Amit Shah addressed the media as the government led by his party completed first year in office. He claimed that under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, the government was able to tackle corruption to a large extent. He also said that the trust deficit during the previous UPA regime is now gone and that the pride of the Prime Minister's office has been restored.
As the NDA government completes 1 year on Tuesday, BJP President Amit Shah highlighted his party's achievements during this period. Lauding the government's efforts to curb corruption, he said that the centre is determined to bring back black money to India. He also praised Shah on the Prime Minister, saying that he had led the country out of trust deficit or policy paralysis seen during the previous regime.
मानता हूं कि इस सरकार की प्रमुख सिद्धि अगर कोई है तो इस देश में से विश्वास के संकट को कि जो हुआ था उसको इस सरकार ने समाप्त कर दिया। पहले देश की सरकार पर देश की जनता को भरोसा नहीं था कि सरकार देश को कहां पर ले जाएगी। देश के प्रधानमंत्री पर देश की कैबिनेट को भरोसा नहीं था और ब्यूरोक्रेसी को प्रधानमंत्री पर भरोसा नहीं था। आज वो विश्वास का संकट टल गया है।
Shah also listed out various initiatives by the government to counter opposition's charges that it was anti-poor and anti-farmer.
यूपीए की सरकार WTO के अंदर किसानों के हित को गिरो रखकर आई थी। वहां एक समझौते पर सैद्धांतिक स्वीकृति दी थी कि भारत किसान को मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस नहीं दे सकता। जब समझौते को अमली जामा पहनाने का समय आया तब देश के किसान के सौभाग्य से इस देश में सरकार बदल चुकी थी और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की मोदी सरकार थी। इसके कारण हमने जाकर वहां एक दृढ़ स्टैंड लिया कि हम ग्लोबल फाइनेंशियल डिसिप्लिन के हिस्से तो बनना चाहते हैं मगर हमारी प्रायोरिटी है कि इस देश के किसान को मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस मिले। हम WTO का हिस्सा नहीं बनते तो न बने मगर हम किसान के साथ खड़े रहें।
Known as the man who was instrumental behind BJP's massive win last year in the Lok Sabha polls, Amit Shah is now eyeing victory in the forthcoming Bihar Assembly elections. He said BJP will keep all options open to tie up with other parties for the polls. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
But the Modi government was at the receiving end from the opposition for its functioning over the past 1 year. Slamming the government's close proximity to industrialists, the opposition accused the Modi government of working for the benefit of a selected section. It also questioned several policies undertaken by it in the past 1 year.
With celebrations across the nation on the anniversary of NDA's 1 year in power, the opposition blasted the government, saying they have been merely concentrated on hogging the limelight than making any real improvement. Mounting a multi-pronged attack on the Modi government, the key opposition party Congress said the government's policy changes have only benefited the industrialists.
Well, the last 1 year has demonstrated that the BJP NDA government is not only a government of the corporates, by the corporates, for the corporates, but more than सूट बूट की सरकार, it is झूठ बूट की सरकार।
जो परियोजनाएं हमने शुरू की थी सभी क्षेत्रों में, मैंने आपको मिसाल के तौर से स्वास्थ्य, शिक्षा, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, और यही कार्यक्रम ये सरकार आगे ले चल रही है। हाँ, नए नाम दे रही है।
The opposition claims the government lacked economic vision and fiscal direction to its projects. They also accuse that the government failed to pay heed to several calls for major reforms and bypassed all to pass their own propaganda.
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी प्रचारक रहे हैं और अभी भी वो एक अच्छे प्रचारक हैं और तमाम कमियों के बावजूद जो एक वर्ष उनका रहा है, हर क्षेत्र में, किसी भी क्षेत्र में ये नहीं कहा जाए कि संतोषजनक कार्य हुआ है, लेकिन उसके बावजूद वो क्रेडिट लेने में कामयाब हुए हैं।
The opposition parties led by Congress have been campaigning the alleged failures of the NDA government for the past few days. Congress has been particularly sharp in its attack, with top leaders terming the first year of the government as a complete failure. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
We'll slip into a very quick break right now. All the international news on the other side, so do stay tuned.
One year to the day since the Narendra Modi-led NDA took oath. Plenty of ups and downs, some hits, some misses. What achievements can this government really claim? Watch the big picture at 6:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party has passed a resolution asking for powers to be able to impeach the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi. The resolution was passed on the first day of an emergency two-day assembly session amid the bitter spat between Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Lieutenant Governor Najib Jung over the appointment of bureaucrats.
The bitter power tussle in Delhi between Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and LG Najib Jung worsened on Tuesday. On the first day of the two-day emergency assembly session, the AAP moved a resolution seeking powers to impeach the LG. The resolution comes after a week of confrontation between the two offices over appointments of bureaucrats. The party also introduced a motion against the centre's notification backing the LG, which was adopted by the assembly.
सरकारिया कमीशन का ये रिकमेंडेशन था उसी तरह 155 और 156 सेक्शन को कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पे अमेंड किया जाए जैसे कि स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर्स को भी पावर हो गवर्नर लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर को इम्पीच करने की। तो मैंने ये मांग की है कि ये असेंबली रेजोल्यूशन पास करे कि पार्लियामेंट को ये बोला जाए कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के सेक्शन 155 156 को अमेंड किया जाए।
However, BJP, the only opposition party in the assembly, raised objections. The party said the matter should now be resolved in the court.
जो टकराव चल रहा है सो कॉल्ड टकराव, वो टकराव नहीं है, संविधान के इंटरप्रिटेशन का मामला है। संविधान का इंटरप्रिटेशन राज्य सरकार एक तरीके से कर रही है, केंद्र सरकार दूसरे तरीके से कर रही है। मामला कोर्ट में जाएगा, अपने आप मामला सेटल हो जाएगा। इससे राज्यों के साथ दुर्व्यवहार का कोई मामला नहीं है भैया, संविधान के इंटरप्रिटेशन का मामला है, उसकी व्याख्या का मामला है।
Earlier, Kejriwal met Jung on Tuesday morning. This was the first meeting between the two since the confrontation began. The meeting came a day after the High Court ruled that Delhi's Anti-Corruption Bureau can initiate action against corrupt central officials. Kejriwal sees the ruling as a major embarrassment for the centre, which he accused of trying to rule Delhi through the LG. With inputs from Anu Diwan, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Swiss authorities have revealed names of scores of foreign nationals with Swiss accounts facing probes in their respective countries for tax evasion. Among those were the names of 6 Indians: industrialist Yash Birla, son-in-law of late realty baron Ponti Chadda, Gurjeet Singh Kochar, Syed Mohammad Masood, Chaud Kausar Mohammad Masood, Snehata Shani and Sangeeta Shani. The Indian government has been pushing the Swiss authorities for a long time to share information on the suspected tax evaders. The Swiss Federal Tax Administration had asked these people to file an appeal within 30 days before the Federal Administrative Court if they do not want their details to be shared with Indian authorities under their mutual assistance treaty on tax matters.
Last 1 year, we've had extensive negotiations with the Swiss authorities. These negotiations have been at the level of the Revenue Secretary, at my own level on 2 occasions, and the Swiss authorities have been moving in the direction of cooperation. I'm delighted that this cooperation could not have fructified on a better day when our government completes this 1 year. This should give a sufficient indicator to those who hold assets outside India.
For all the other national news and updates, let's take you nationwide. Retired Lieutenant General Nirbhay Sharma was today sworn in as the 8th Governor of Mizoram. Lieutenant General Sharma was transferred and appointed as the Mizoram Governor on the 12th of May, replacing West Bengal Governor K. Srinath Tripathi, who had additional charge of Mizoram. Entering the 6th day of their agitation to press for 5% reservation in government jobs, Gujars on Tuesday remained adamant for calling the Committee of Ministers for talks. The Gujars wanted the talks to be held in Bharatpur to try and resolve the issue even as they continue to block rail tracks. The Union government on Tuesday told the Delhi High Court that Greenpeace India violated the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act by merging its foreign donations with domestic ones. Greenpeace had filed a plea against cancellation of its registration, saying it was facing imminent shutdown after the government closed its accounts. One person was killed and another injured after a parcel that was sent to JDU leader Abhay Kushwaha's house in Gaya exploded. The victim had been identified as Santosh. He worked as a domestic help at the leader's residence. Police are investigating the incident. Now, soaring temperatures have gripped parts of southern India and northern India as well in an extreme heat wave which has killed more than 750 people and looks set to continue this week. Neither the central government nor the state governments have relief plans in place. Andhra Pradesh and Telangana have been the worst affected states. Now, the Met Department says that hailstorms in the region in the next few days might bring some respite.
A stifling heat wave has killed more than 750 people across the country. The worst hit are the states of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, where over 550 deaths have been reported. Temperatures in the region are hovering nearly 4 to 5 degrees above normal. The Met Department has issued red box warnings for Odisha, Jharkhand and Andhra Pradesh, which means there are high chances of heat stroke, dehydration and fatality with temperatures crossing 45 degrees Celsius. Besides these states, the heat wave could worsen in parts of Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh over the next 2 days.
Today, marginally, there will be higher temperatures up to 45 degrees or so, and then gradually they will be reducing. Maybe by tomorrow, some thunderstorm activities would start in Telangana area and also in coastal Andhra Pradesh area.
The effect of heat stroke, heat wave conditions in Krishna district is very severe over the past 5 to 6 days, with the temperature reaching to 47 to 48 degrees Celsius to some areas. Now the people have been advised through various mediums of communication to take adequate precautions in this regard.
While the rest of India continues to simmer under the intense heat wave, the higher reaches of Rajouri district in Jammu and Kashmir received fresh snowfall on Monday. The sudden change in weather has been caused by a western disturbance over the region.
मई और जून में कहीं बर्फ नहीं मिलती, इवन गुलमर्ग में बर्फ नहीं है इस वक्त, लेकिन यहाँ पे इस वक्त बर्फ है। तो वही इस जगह की उपलब्धि है कि इस जगह में अभी वहाँ से ज्यादा टूरिस्ट यहाँ आना चाहिए।
फ्रेश स्नोफॉल हुआ है, जबकि पूरे हिंदुस्तान में गर्मी के लोग जल रहे हैं। यहाँ आप देख सकते हैं कितना फ्रेश मौसम, शाम को फ्रेश स्नोफॉल हुआ था, अभी कोई आधे घंटे पहले फ्रेश स्नोफॉल हुआ।
Despite its periodic incidents and very high levels of mortality, heat wave is not considered a natural disaster. In comparison, the cold wave, which also kills hundreds of people during winter, is in the government's list of natural disasters, and the victims are entitled to compensation besides access to other forms of relief. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time for another quick break. All the international news coming up on the other side.
दिल्ली विधानसभा का विशेष सत्र। उप मुख्यमंत्री सिसोदिया ने पेश किया प्रस्ताव। केंद्र की अधिसूचना पर चर्चा। देखिए पहली खबर। विधानसभा का विशेष सत्र शाम 7 बजे।
BJP came to power with a resounding mandate. 1 year down the line, what have been the hits and misses? Watch PM's men talk about their journey and achievements. On NDA at 365 on Rajya Sabha television.
प्रेम के तमाम रूपों का संगम है मजरू सुल्तानपुरी।
लेके पहला पहला जब दिल ही टूट गया पत्थर के सनम बचना ए हसीनो पापा कहते love you जानम समझा करो।
उनकी नजर उनका शहर में मिली इस बार मजरूह सुल्तानपुरी से।
1 year of the Narendra Modi-led NDA government. Foreign policy victories and economy revival efforts at home. The poor versus industry tilt debate. And a bittersweet relationship with the opposition. It's been a year of controversies galore alongside the big question. Has this government lived up to expectations? Watch wide-ranging coverage on 1 year of the NDA government. Special programs and interviews, the gamut of issues over the last year and ahead on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Time for some international news and global buzz now. Airstrikes continue in war-torn Yemen. The Saudi-led coalition targeted military units loyal to former Yemeni President Ali Abdullah Saleh. His eldest son's house was also hit in airstrikes. However, no casualties have been reported so far. At least 13 people have been killed in a tornado that hit Mexico and Texas in the United States. Several hundreds are still missing. Over 1,000 homes have reportedly been damaged. Texas governor said it's the worst flooding the state has seen. Colorado, Arkansas, Louisiana, Missouri and eastern Kansas have been put on high alert. At least 38 people were killed in a fire at an old-age home in China. The cause of the fire is still unknown and many are still feared trapped in the building. Chinese President Xi Jinping has ordered an investigation into the incident. Bangladesh has reportedly banned an Islamic militant group, Ansarullah Bangla team. The group is allegedly involved in the recent killings of 3 bloggers. Avijit Roy, Ananta Bijoy Das and Washikur Rahman were hacked to death a few months earlier for writing critical blogs on Islam. It's time to check all the sporting action in Sportsbeat. In the French Open women's singles, defending champion and second seed Russian Maria Sharapova has moved into the second round. She defeated Kai Kanepi 6-2, 6-4 in the first round. Real Madrid has sacked coach Carlo Ancelotti after the club failed to win any major trophies this season. According to the media report, Napoli's Rafa Benitez is likely to replace Ancelotti. Real is expected to announce a successor next week. Thousands of jubilant Chelsea fans queued up in London as Premier League champions and League Cup winners paraded their trophies in the city. The Blues ended the season on a real high on Sunday when they came from behind at Stamford Bridge to beat Sunderland 3-1. That's all from us. Goodbye.